What's up, everybody? Coming back here, another episode of Radio Wigwam here. This is audio edition slash we are taking video. So if you go over to our YouTube pages and social media, you will see Melissa on here at some point here. What's going on, Melissa? By the way, you just heard Life is Beautiful and Stay With Me from Melissa Harding, also featuring James Michaels. Who is
Yeah,
James Michaels? Why don't you tell me that?
Michael,
I
not
know, I
Michaels.
know, I know.
James is the lead singer. If you guys are not familiar with 6 a.m., he's the lead singer and lead, producer on all those records and songwriter. And I've known him since I was very, very young. That song, "Stay With Me," it was like the biggest honor to have him sing that vocal on that song. It's a song that I love a lot, and we've never done it live or anything, but I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really, really happy that he was willing to come do that with me. That was co-written by my friend Douglas Showalter. He produced that track, and yeah, I mean James just his voice is just so epic,
Oh
so it was
yeah. His
beautiful.
I first heard that first album and then I seen him live opening for Motley Crue.
Yep, yep.
And I was just like, who are these people? Especially Nikki Six. I was like, he's playing a double show
Yeah.
that
And
day.
what's so wild about just the whole 6 a.m. project was that, when they first did like some demos of those songs, James just sang the demos, right? It was like, we're
That's
writing these
true.
songs, I'm just gonna sing the demos and then we'll find a singer. And
Yeah.
then these other singers, but
He's like, I'm
nobody
not a singer. He goes, I was like, what? Yeah, you are.
nobody quite sounded like he did, and that's when
No,
I
he's got a very unique voice. Yeah.
yeah, then it became a conversation of why don't you just be the singer as opposed to just like writing and producing it? Why don't you just let's use your voice? But then it was like they'll never tour these songs. And
Oh yeah.
then you saw what
Well,
happened.
the thing is, I didn't know you, and I seen you up on the stage, with that band, and I was just
Yeah.
like, and we did a festival together. We didn't even know each
Yes.
other.
Yeah. It's so wild, it's so like interesting being in that world as a female vocalist. As it's interesting because I saw like the Foo Fighters. I know Dave Grohl's daughter, and they have a couple backup singers now, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of female singers, and I think
yeah,
that's really cool. But at the time, being out there a decade ago and touring with 6 a.m., we were like the only women in a lot of those shows, those festivals.
yeah,
Occasionally, like Lizzie Hale, and I'd be like,
yeah. I
there's a
thought it
woman.
was really interesting too. I go, why do they have backup, female singers? Like I've never seen this before at a rock show. Usually it's
Kind of
just the
interesting.
band.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and they didn't have it. Obviously, they didn't have backup singers when they did Crew Fest years ago. It was just the most recent tours, like 2013 to 2017,
yep,
when we kind of wrapped up. That
yep.
that's when we were out there, and
I
I'd
remember.
sung I'd sung on the Heroin Diaries a little bit. There were female backing vocals here and there on some of the albums,
Yep.
but yeah, that was the first time
Well,
they
we're gonna
brought.
play up next here, "Rise," which I believe you're on as well from the last two albums, and then a new Motley Crue song that is kind of people are like, I like it, I don't like it. Dogs of War, we'll see. And I want to talk about too when we come back here. We got some Acid Tongue. You specifically said throw this band in there. You got to check them out.
I love them. I
So
love
let's play these songs and come back, and we'll talk to you guys soon. But you know what? We're still on the video stuff here. So hey, everybody. All right, here we go. This is how it works. This is behind the scenes, everybody.
This is behind the scenes.
Palangi Studio Brock here, coming back here with guest Melissa Harding. She's a vocal coach extraordinaire. You just heard her on the song Rise from 6 a.m. as well, everybody. How does the vocal coaching come in handy with your own singing and then working with other bands out there? Just because I know anybody right now, anybody, you can go to her website and book a session with her and her
A
stuff. It
free, a
works.
free
I have
session.
done it. I've done it. A free session.
You can do a free consultation. So if you go to my website, melissahardingmusic.com, you'll find it in the coaching section. Um, it's funny you asked, like, being a vocal coach for myself, I'm my hardest student, right? Like, I have had incredible teachers in my life. I know now, after all of these years and really sticking with coaching, I know now what to pay attention to with my own voice, but I can still be just like, can I curse on here?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll be careful with. Okay, I can just still be stubborn as hell,
yeah,
just really stubborn. That's the Taurus in me too. But like, it's hard to see some technical things on yourself. And for anybody who's a rock singer out there, a pop rock singer, there are techniques that are very, very helpful for just staying healthy, right?
hmm
Like my whole idea behind my coaching and all the artists that I work with, whether they're rock or pop, or I work with comedians, I work with actors. It's like, how do you take care of this instrument so that you can go do what you want to do on stage? My job is not to change any of my clients' style. That's
Yes.
their God-given, that's their natural intuition.
Yeah.
My
You don't want to
my
change their
job,
voice.
no, God, no. My job is to make sure that they are free and they're doing it as effortlessly as possible. So,
Yeah.
if you want that kind of help, you need to make sure you're not training with a classical voice coach or like some voice
Yeah. Yeah.
teachers. They
Because it
specialize
wouldn't really
in
work too. It wouldn't really do any
it's
justice for
a
you.
different style. It's
Unless
just
you
a
want to
different
completely
style.
change my voice, I could change it if you want me to.
Right. If you want to go in and say, help me be an opera singer, help me
Yeah.
learn musical theater,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But if you're an artist and you're trying to figure out just how to stay healthy, that's a different thing. So that's what I do for my clients. I was James's vocal coach when we were out with 6 a.m. and it's just having a good regimen. It's knowing what your instrument needs and
Yep.
knowing how much you can give, and singing is hard, man. It lives within your body, and
I
it's
know.
a hard
Depending on
one
how
to
you
figure out.
feel, it's awful, you
Yeah.
know?
You didn't sleep well, whatever. I mean, everything affects the
Yep.
voice, your diet, I mean, all of it. So it's tough sometimes, but if you want to do it, you got to figure out how it works for you,
Oh
and what you
yeah.
need help with, and
I've been
ask for
playing
help.
bass for Ryan Clark, my friend I've known for. I recorded his very first demo when he
Yeah,
was like
man.
18 years old. So
Aw.
moved to Nashville and he's doing his whole thing and we played a show and that was one of the things I was gonna bring up is I didn't have to worry about the vocal. It
Yep.
was very
Yep.
odd for me
Yep.
actually because I
Yep.
was like, okay, I'm just used to it.
You
And
get to pick it up and put it back in the case, and
yeah, I'm just like my bass guitar goes here. Where do I go now? What do I do? Oh, I show up
uh,
just when we go on stage.
and actually, that's the thing that's interesting is a lot of singers, that go out there and they're just good at what they do. It's when they start touring, it's when they start singing
Yes.
night
Yeah.
after night, and like, that's when it becomes a thing where you're like, oh shit, I need to know what to do before the show and after so that the
Hmm.
next day or whatever I can do this
You can
again.
function. Yeah.
Right. And I always tell people, like, that's why, like, if you want to be on Broadway, a lot of those actors go to 4 years of college. That's why they're going, because they're trying to figure out how to do 8 shows a week. It's not an
Yeah.
easy job,
Yeah.
right? So,
No. You
whether
really
you're,
need to be an athlete in a way.
yeah, you just hit it. I was going to say,
Yeah.
whether you're a dancer or you're a football player or you're a da 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 or whatever, you have coaches, you have people that help you stay healthy, stay in the game so that you have a director or whatever. You have people that are there to kind of guide you through. And artists, we're just kind of like on our own.
Yeah.
So we have to figure it out. So, yeah, if you're struggling with your voice, get coaching. Get coaching. Don't be afraid to ask for help because, man, it can make your life a hell of a lot easier.
Best advice here from Melissa. Now you can go back too because we do have a video interview with you and James
Yeah.
talks about a little bit more of that. So go over to our YouTube and our Facebook pages, and you can see that interview. We do re-air stuff every once in a while, so once in a while, like that interview will come up.
Yeah.
So and
Love it.
people are like they're loving it. So they all like it.
Mm.
And shout out to here company CAD Audio hooking me up for this t-shirt, the headphones, the vocal mic. You might as well turn me into a something, a CAD Audio product here.
You're the spokesperson now.
Yeah, but so I've been endorsed by them for a lot of years, and we just re-signed back up, and I got some gear that I have to do some review stuff for. And I tell you, they
Awesome.
support independent artists like crazy,
I
and their
love it.
stuff's not wicked expensive too, but it's really good. So that's good because we're all on a budget. Believe it or
Out.
not, everybody, we're on a
Yes.
budget.
We should be on a budget so we
Up,
can
go
save our
ahead.
cash.
There you go. Up next, we got some Fire of Love, a song of mine I recorded a couple of years ago here with the drummer from Daughtry and Live. He's drumming with now, Mr. Robin Diaz. He's really cool. He's from California too.
Awesome.
Some Nirvana, some Papa Roach, and a new Saving Abel song with the original singer back in the band. So let's kick that up right now here on Palangi Studio of Rock. See, video. Keep going. We're video. I'm gonna cut this out for the audio, but we're here on video. All right.
Still dancing.
All right, let me see. We're gonna come back here. We got.
Okay.
We can talk a little bit, and we got 3 more songs here. We come back,
Hell yeah.
everybody. Okay, here we
I
go.
love it. I
Ready?
love doing
I'm gonna
this
try to
little
do this
radio
live.
show version. I'm doing my coffee still.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do this. Ready? Everybody here, welcome back to Palangi Studio of Rock with guest Melissa Harding here. That is a not a beer, everybody, but you can go and see our video versions here on YouTube and Facebook, and you'll see that is a Adirondack Black Cherry Soda. And she's probably
Ooh.
saying, "Don't drink soda; it's bad for your vocals."
No, 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 it's not. Those are myths. Those are all myths, guys. You can drink whatever you want as long as it works for you. I'm drinking coffee.
There you
People say
go. I
that's
mean,
bad.
Reba does a Dr. Pepper and some potato chips.
Listen, potato chips are good because I think because they got all that good grease on them. So if you eat
Yes.
potato chips, you get a little grease in that throat. We like that. That's
If you can
that's
get non-salted potato chips, that's the best because it's the salt actually that kills you.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing that drives you out. Coffee, I did a class and this vocal coach was saying, to say coffee's bad for you when coffee is still based, you brew it with water, right? Like
That's true. Yeah,
there's
yeah.
still hydration. Yeah, there might be some caffeine, but you're still drinking something that's brewed with water. I mean,
Yep.
unless
Like
you're just
tea.
drinking like a milkshake from Starbucks, that's a little different. But like
No
coffee,
dairy, folks.
I know everybody says that too. Also a myth. If it doesn't bug you, it doesn't bug you,
It
And
bugs me.
there
I
you go.
can't. Yeah. I
See,
can eat it if I'm not, but
there's the difference, right? Like I don't really notice it. Like this has guys, I do a bullet coffee. I blend my coffee with butter and honey.
there you
Okay?
go. I have a
There's
magic
butter
bullet
in
too.
this, right? I don't it doesn't bug me. It doesn't give me extra phlegm. So for me it's not a big deal. But
Okay.
Frank, none for you.
Nope, not for me. Not when I'm singing. When I'm not singing, it's fair game.
There you go. There you go.
Now you have a new single coming out, right? What's going on with
I
that?
do. I'm actually announcing it. I don't know when this is going to air, but I'm actually
This might
announcing.
already be out, yeah, folks. So you can
Okay,
already
it's
go out there
already.
and get it.
Okay, cool. So this song I'm actually announcing what the single is tomorrow. I'm doing this big project, right? My father passed away in 2020 and I recorded him talking a lot at the end of his life and took a lot of that audio and turned it into this 9-part documentary podcast about grief and loss in his life and so we found a bunch of songs, covers that were inspired by music he kind of introduced me to as a child and then music that I wrote inspired by this story, right?
Yep.
So the first song we have coming is coming out July 19th and it's a cover of a Beach Boys song. I can't say which one yet because I'm announcing it tomorrow, but I'm really excited about it. I have a producing team working with me. My friend Matt produced it and James mixed it for me and did some production on it as well. And it's really, really lovely. Like I'm really excited to release it. So
That's awesome. I will definitely be listening to that. Everybody can
hey,
go out there. You can follow her on Spotify and all those other good places.
yes,
She's got
please.
a lot of music out there as well right now, so you check it out here. It's not it's not hard rock. I know you love hard rock,
No,
but
no,
it's not in
no.
hard rock music. But and I will do some guitar for you someday. That's something that fits
Please, I
because
would love it.
that's on
You
the
know
plate.
what? When I have dreams, Frank, of like starting a side project rock band just for fun. Like honestly,
Yeah.
not under my name, just for fun. So maybe we do that and we just record some things,
Yeah. I've got
and
all new
collab.
equipment, new studio, ready to
Do
go
it.
there.
Why not? I love it.
So on the audio side here, farewell, folks. Here, have a good night. Palangi Studio of Rock with vocal coach extraordinaire Melissa Harding. Thanks for coming on the show for this update, and you can see the past stuff, like I said, on our YouTubes and our social medias. Make sure you guys talk to us as well. We like to talk, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
we're real talkers.
See you guys, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Well, for the video stuff, we're still here. We can chat for a few minutes here, but
Okay.
so this is how the audio stuff works, folks, with the radio show. Usually, though, I'm alone in the booth
Yep.
talking to myself for like 4 minutes and then cutting it up later.
Yep. Thank God. You're sometimes you don't have to be alone, Frank. You can have friends in the
Yeah, sometimes that's good. Once in a
Good for
while,
you
I don't know.
to not be alone all the time.
So
Me
we're
too.
still on here. What can we throw in here? What do you want to throw in here for everybody for the video version?
All
Anything
right.
else?
Well,
We got a couple minutes.
I'm gonna tell you why I love Acid Tongue so much. Are you ready?
Yeah, that's right. We didn't get into that.
Everyone check out Acid Tongue. I love Acid Tongue. This is a band from Seattle. They're like straight up 70s psychedelic rock. It's just a vibe,
That's cool.
And I love just great like vocal hooks, great guitar hooks, just like straight up drums, guitar, bass, just really rock and roll, but it's just an eclectic group. So go look them up on Instagram and stuff because the lead singer guy is just so cool and
That's
just
neat.
good music, just really cool, catchy tunes. And if anybody's into this, to me it's like a around Los Angeles with the windows down kind of album, and I just love it. So Acid on the Dance Floor is their new record, and I think it's
The
rad.
few I
Just
listened to, I thought you meant it was actually recorded in the 70s. So I was listening to it and I was like, it's got that
right.
really old school feeling to
It's
it.
so vibey
And
and it's just hooky, man.
so
It's
here's the
cool.
thing nowadays is it, I know it's mixed, right? But in commercial standards, it's actually not a mixed song.
Yeah.
Because when I listen to it, they're gonna say, yes, it was mixed. And I do know, guys, it was mixed. But what I'm saying is like it's not that
Overly produced.
overly produced sound that
Yeah.
everybody does now. It's like it's that real. They use room tones. I could tell the kick mic what they do.
It's so vibey and I keep saying that word, but it's like it
Mm.
just has its own energy that just feels very different than a lot of the other bands. And it is a little more old school, like I don't know how they recorded all of it, but it's also just in the songwriting to me. I just think the structure of these songs, they're thoughtful, they're cool, the drums are cool. Like everything about the arrangement is cool. The vocals, I'm so into it. I've like forced my boyfriend to listen to this record so many times, but he's into it too. So we're just like,
There you go.
I'm like, acid tongue, and I'm always putting it on. He's like, here we go.
It's like
It's really
Metallica for
cool.
me. Metallica, come on now, let's do
I'm
it.
really into it. I latch on, I latch on to some stuff, and
There you
that's
go.
my current thing. It's summertime, I'm into it. So
In the
check them
car,
out.
let me tell you, all I listen to is Hair Nation and Ozzy's Boneyard. That's it.
There you go. There
Sometimes
you go.
Octane, but I have heard you guys on Octane once in a while too.
Have you?
Yeah.
Which songs would they play on there? Would it be Life is Beautiful mainly?
That one, and I think I heard one from Prayers of the Damned or the Blessed. Not really.
Okay.
I can't remember, but
Yeah, if I tell me which song it is and I can tell you, but I don't, yeah, that's awesome.
yeah,
I like hearing that
they're
they
still
come up
played,
somewhere. I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
especially because the
Great
Motley
song.
Crue stuff's coming up. So they're like, well, Nikki Six. Oh yeah, he's played in other projects, and then they throw that in there.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Oh, I'm
But big
glad. I'm
fans.
glad it gets played. They're good albums. They're really good albums.
Yeah, and so personally, I don't think I told James this, but personally, not so much the first record, but those last two that you were on. So those were the two that really inspired me in my own music.
Mm.
From the Set Me Free record and on. And I mean, a lot, even to the point where I threw up the songs mixes and stuff. And I was kind of like trying to mix it like that and be like, oh, because I thought it was really good and this and this. And I'm like, what am I missing? What can I learn from this? So, and that I found out that was all James. Because I was like, who I got to talk to find out how it was recorded too. And it was
Yep.
James.
He did those,
So,
what were those videos called? Like the fly on the wall, where he would
yes, I watched one of those too.
break
With,
them
I think he
down.
did one of
And
those songs.
yeah, he did one I remember for Rise. And there was probably a couple other songs that he hit as well. But it's cool to just, I mean, that was the thing about 6 a.m. was they even there was conversations, and I don't know what happened in this conversation, but there was even conversations about maybe they do another record and he doesn't produce it, right? But like, would it sound like 6 a.m. then?
I don't know.
He's kind of part of the sound, right? Like how he produces those albums. So I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what gave him a lot of that name, is like not only being the lead singer, but being the one who made it sound the way it sounded. So,
Yep.
I think that's kind of what you're talking about. It's not just the voice, it's
Us a
what
production. Yeah. That's where I learned. Because after I listened to that, I go, there's layering there that I never realized before. So I started, I still do it to today. So basically, it's because of him that I layer stuff in my recordings now.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
if you listen to my first two EPs, they're literally just, like one acoustic, and then there's electric, there's the bass, there's the drums. There might be a little synth thing, but I
right.
never like, did triple guitar layers in this part or double in here. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Even
Right.
how it's Well, I have DJ Ashba's wah pedal. So that's the one that I use. So there's stuff like that that's, hidden in there with the octave tones and stuff that you throw.
Yeah.
I could tell, like, you throw that stuff underneath.
It's so cool. That's the thing about production and all these things is like we all have our own approaches. We try things different ways. We do different things with our vocals, whatever it might be. Like going back to a band like Acid Tongue, it may not be as many layers of things. And then you look at a
No,
record
yeah.
like a 6 a.m. record, there's a lot of guitars. There's strings, there's a lot of vocals. I mean, just on Rise, I mean, 30 probably vocals of each of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Layered.
It was mainly James and I that did the vocals on most of those songs. And like, there are so many layers, like a choir, and that was part of the fun of it. But like, when we go on tour, we're not going to bring a choir, right? Like, this
Yeah.
is why a lot of these live shows now, it's pretty standard to use stems in the track just so that you get the full effect because people are layering a lot of sounds into these albums now, and
Yeah.
that's what makes them sound the way they sound. So it's cool. That's where the technology comes in, and it's a cool thing, right?
It does. And then you're like, well, they sound like what they do on the record. But
Right,
also too, it's like the Eddie Trunk I seen where it's like, can those bands do that without that? Would they
right,
sound like crap?
right,
That
right.
sort of thing. And some of them
Well,
honestly do. Some of them sound so empty that's like you can't even perform the song.
Well, and this is why, right? When you watch a band like the Foo Fighters, there's like 6 dudes on stage, 7 dudes on stage. So they may not be using tracks like some of these other bands, but they've got 3 guitars or they've got,
Yep.
that's part of it. It's like Dave's playing guitar and Chris Shiflett's playing guitar, and there's bass, keys, drums,
Yep.
vocals. Now they have backing. There's like 8 people on stage with the Foo Fighters now. It's like its own little
Yeah.
orchestra,
Yeah.
but they don't play with a click and they don't play with all that stuff. With a band like 6 a.m., it was mainly like, if we were going to have backing tracks, it might be some gang vocals because there's only 3 of us making vocals, but the records, there's a lot
Yeah.
of
Synth
vocals.
sounds and stuff. I don't think
Yeah,
there's a synth keyboard player
yeah.
on stage.
We did play some keys here and there, but it was not ever like we couldn't cover every part. So
Yeah.
Dee's
Yeah.
one guitarist. We only have one guitarist in the band. So it's a couple probably
Yeah.
layers of things in
Yeah.
there, and that's pretty normal now, whether you realize it in the audience or not, like, all of these big, big touring
It's a
groups.
production. So what's happening is the live show is not a live show. It's also a studio live show. It's like there's
Yes.
work to do in a studio somewhere for you to play out live.
Right. And like,
So
Beyonce and Taylor Swift, when they're running around the stage, the way they're running around, there's only one Taylor Swift, but there are many vocal layers of Taylor Swift on those records,
oh
guys. Like,
yes.
so
Oh
when
yes.
she's singing those choruses, we hear more Taylor.
Yep.
It's not
Yep.
just one Taylor. There's
Yeah.
many a Taylor,
That's
and that's
that's
part of how they make it sound that way, and that's okay. Like, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to shame other singers for. We're not robots. We can only do one voice at a
not
time.
AI.
Exactly. That is where those technologies, though, like, we can't deny that it makes the experience different in the
Yeah,
audience. If you
it
want to
does.
see Taylor acoustic, go see her do an acoustic show at some point, but that's different. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep. I
that's
like
what
that
I
stuff better. I like the acoustic stuff.
do. I mean, sure, like there's nothing better than like my friend just went and saw, I don't know if you know this singer, Jessie J. She's an incredible vocalist and songwriter. She's written tons of stuff, but my friend just went and saw her stripped down, acoustic Jessie J. I mean, that's a cool experience to see a really gifted singer stripped down like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we also like the big live show, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's two different things.
All the energies. Well,
Yes.
thanks for being on the show here. We're going to wrap up the video portion of this, and the audio portion you'll hear very soon. I'll probably be out first, actually. I have to do the audio
Yep.
first, then the video, folks.
Got it. You got it.
So good luck with your new single. We're going to have you back on too sometime. We'll talk about all that good jazz.
Thanks, my friends.
That
Thank
is
you for
awesome.
having me. Happy to talk to you always.
All right. I will see you later, folks. Keep rocking out there.